All right. Yes. Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yes. Here we are, and it's a wonderful day in the neighborhood here at Unity of Greater Hartford. My name is Reverend Christine Boylan, and it's wonderful to see you. I can see the parking lot, and there's more people coming in. And of course, there's more people watching on Facebook and on our website. Um, hey, was anyone here last Sunday? Anybody? Yeah. Yeah. Oh. We were so blessed to have Reverend Jim Rosemergy as our guest speaker, and then after the service, he conducted the ordination ceremony of Reverend Kathleen Kurzweig. So we are so excited to have a new minister in our midst, and while she's not going to be employed here, Reverend Kathleen will be helping out with some Wednesday meditations and maybe a class or workshop and maybe even a few Sunday services. And, you know, it was really a wonderful morning, a wonderful day. We had over 50 people in the house, many more watching online. And it was fabulous to feel that energy. And yet, the previous Sunday, we had over 40 people here. Yeah. So, and that's summertime, when we all know. Summertime, especially in Connecticut, it's like, oh, we got to soak up this sun while it's out. I understand that. Well, and the previous Sunday, we had musical guests called Meeting House. And one of the members is the son of one of our prayer chaplains, Marie Manu. And they were just fabulous. If you missed either Sunday, please go online and watch it. You'll enjoy it. But that band that was here, Meeting House, they're going to be in concert on this coming Friday at Blueback Square in West Hartford. Okay, I have no idea where that is, but I suppose we'll all find it. I'm going to be there. There are flyers out in the atrium, so come and join me. We'll have some fun. And we'll say thank you to that wonderful group of musicians who were here that Sunday. And today is another special Sunday because it's Potluck Sunday. So if you're home and you forgot and you're still in your pajamas, get out of bed, get dressed, get down here, and don't worry that you didn't bring anything. This is fish, the loaves and fishes. We always have more than enough, and there's always an opportunity for you to put a donation in or help clean up. There's always an opportunity for you, but it's great to be in fellowship and to break bread with each other. So come on down. 2 Sundays ago, we had or maybe 3, can't remember. We had a meeting after the service, and it was to discuss my going on a sabbatical for a month, which begins August 22nd. During that meeting, we handed out a document that is, who does what. And I invited everyone, if you didn't see your name printed out, to know that it was in all the white spaces. Your name was repeated hundreds of times in the white spaces. So there's more than enough opportunities to find a way to be in service and to, have all of us rise up. Now, we have a day-long board training service coming up this Saturday. After that, that's where we're going to finalize this document, and then we will send it out to anyone who was unable to be here on that Sunday, as well as to our people in charge of different ministries. So if you were unable to be here and you'd like to get that, it's not too late. Send me an email saying that, I'd like to get that document, and I'll get it to you. So just send it to revchris@unityhartford.org, and I will return that after Saturday. Now, sometime this week, we are going to be unveiling a new website. We don't stay still very often, do we? No, we are always doing something. So we're going to be unveiling a new website, and though it's the same domain name, unityhartford.org, we're moving. We got to get, the arrow pointed now to the new website. and reason why we're doing this is because we're saving a lot of money. We'll save probably more than $700 a year in doing this. So I want to alert you to the fact that there may be some glitches. There may be some things that are not working. And so everyone go up today and do your donation online. Okay? Do it today so that you don't experience any glitches or whatever information you want to get. You know, could be, well, what's the Monday night Zoom information? Get that today. Of course, I'll be available. You can always reach out to me. I'll let you know. But we're looking to turn it on Monday or Tuesday. And so, thank you for your patience with that. If anything does seem goofy, just reach out to me and let me know preferably by email. The other thing is, many people, members and non-members, received a letter from me, and it was to, if you had already done a commitment card for the year, to please keep with that commitment, or if you haven't done a commitment card, you have the opportunity to do a 6-month commitment card. And so those are out on, some people said, no sooner did I get that mailing than I misplaced it. And I understand that. So there are commitment cards out on the table in the atrium if you need another one. Please take it, fill it out. We'd love to have you join us in holding us all in prayer as we continue to open up our doors and have more people come in and do more things, and to know that we have the funds to do that. All right, I have a lot of things to talk about today. So when you came in, did anybody notice our sign at the road? Anybody? So when you leave, you're going to stop and notice that sign, because there were 3 people who, in this brutal heat, actually went out there, scrubbed it all down, and painted it all up, and it looks gorgeous. So thank you to Donna Marshall, to Christine Kiley, and to Sue Smallage for their wonderful work. We have in the corner our prayer candle lighting table. There are some prayers with that, affirmations. Please, anytime during the service or after the service or before the service, go over to our table, light a candle, and say a prayer. And of course, the affirmation card, take with you. You may take that with you and use that in your daily prayer practice. So now we handed out a Sunday bulletin with words to our songs to those in the sanctuary. Please don't leave it in the sanctuary. Take it with you. The big basket in the atrium, you put it there and we'll recycle it. If you're online, you just go to right underneath all the information about today, and you'll see, click here for the bulletin. So let's take that bulletin in our hands and together affirm what we know about unity. Our welcome affirmation. Together, unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And so certainly here at Unity, we welcome, value, and include all people. So again, welcome to all of you as you more come into the sanctuary, and of course to all those watching on our website and those watching on Facebook. You know what you got to do. I'd like to see you go say hello to everybody, let people know you're there, and during the service, make a comment, send up an emoji. Let us know that you're there. It's always fun for me to see all that when I go back in and look it over. So, if you were here last week, you might have heard Reverend Jim Rosemurgy suggest that we take a certain affirmation and do it for 40 days. All right. So, and that affirmation was, God and I are one. So every month we have a monthly affirmation. And the reason we do that is because that's how Unity started, as a prayer ministry. And, the founders would send out an affirmation. Well, they'd mail it to everybody. And then at a certain time during the week, they would all, just say it together. So we're asking you to take these monthly affirmations, bring them into your daily prayer practice, and join us in making that prayer vibration even stronger. And so on your bulletin is the prayer for August. And I'm going to say it once, and I'm going to ask you to say it with me. And of course, it begins with as I pray first, because prayer first is our theme for 2022. As I pray first, I ignite my spiritual power of faith, and I embrace the truth that God and I are one. So please join me in saying that together. As I pray first, I ignite my spiritual power of faith, and I embrace the truth that God and I are one. Now let's take this affirmation into our opening prayer. And so today we pray. We pray knowing that we have this unlimited spiritual power of faith. We never need more faith. We need to be more aware. So we tap in with our ability of awareness, of consciousness. We tap into the spiritual power of faith. And this truth becomes real. That God and I are one. That I am never separated from the divine. That the divine is actually wired into my very DNA. God and I are one. Let's take that, just that simple affirmation, into a brief moment of silence. Doing nothing but having an awareness that God and I are one. In the silence. And we breathe into that truth. God and I are one. There is no other power that has any hold on me. There is no power but the one power. And as I ignite my spiritual truth of faith, never ending, never exhaustible faith, in that one presence, I can live the truth that I know, that God and I are one. We fill our hearts with gratitude. How blessed are we to know this truth, to be able to live this truth. Thank you, sweet Spirit. And so it is. Amen. Amen. And so now, good morning, Carolyn. Good morning. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
And to know that we have the choir with us. Come on up, guys. Come on up. Woo. Yes. So, what are we singing this morning?
We're going to start off this morning with This Little Light of Mine. So stand if you want to, if you can. You have your lyrics. You may not even need them. And let's open this morning with excitement and light.
It's the other one. Yeah.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When I go to work, I'm gonna let it shine. When I go to work, I'm gonna let it shine. When I go to work, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. shine. When I'm on the street, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm on the street, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When I'm with the church, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm with the church, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm with the church, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you, choir.
Oh, come on, let's hear one more round of applause for these guys. Nice job. Well, good morning, UGH. My name, oh, geez. You know, it seems like every time I get up here, that puberty thing just leaps right in. It's like an out-of-body experience. All right, here we go. Try it again. My name is Kirk Smallage, and I have the privilege this morning to be your worship assistant. And today, Reverend Christine will be continuing the Sunday Talk series using the book Unity and World Religions. Today, she will be taking us on a magic carpet ride discussing unity and Islam. Well, you know, it's sort of magic carpet ride. After each Sunday Talk in this series, you are also invited to a discussion table in the community room. It is the table in there with the green tablecloth, so you'll know which one it is. And if you're not here in person, that discussion will also take place on Zoom the next day on Monday for 1 hour beginning at 6:30. And you can find the Zoom link in the newsletter and on the website. And as Reverend Christine said earlier, today is the first Sunday of the month, so it is in fact Potluck Sunday. Yahoo! I've already seen a little snip of the things that are in there. It looks really good. And it's a wonderful way for us to come together and break bread and share. So don't worry if you don't have a food item. You can always give in other ways. There's a donation basket available there in the community room. You can stay and help clean up. That's always important. Or just be a wonderful, beneficial presence. And everyone is invited to join us after the service. And also, in a month, we will be celebrating World Day of Prayer. Yay, Deb Giddings. Yay. So on Wednesday, September 7th, join Deborah Giddings, Marie Manu, and others in a 1 hour World Day of Prayer service beginning at 6:30 a.m. Oh, I'm just checking to make sure they're paying attention. I knew it was 6:30 p.m. It, in fact, will be in the evening. And the service will be held live in the sanctuary and also will be live streamed to our Facebook page and to our website. And this year's theme is entitled Holding the High Watch, and that is what our prayer chaplains will be doing. So please submit your prayer requests for yourself or anyone by adding the person's first name only to the World Day of Prayer board that's located out in the atrium, or you can also complete the World Day of Prayer form. The prayer form is available, and again, it is for first name only, and those are also in the atrium. So place that particular paper prayer into the blue prayer box that is located in the atrium. And you were also, where's mine, handed an invitation card today. So after you put that date, September 7th on it, that's what it should look like. And if you put that on your calendar, then you can hand this to someone else. And there are things on the back about ways that you can participate in the World Day of Prayer. And again, that's September 7th, and it's at 6:30 p.m. Okay, yeah. I was just checking to make sure they were listening. Yeah. So, most of us here think of Unity of Greater Hartford as their spiritual home. But we would like to offer everyone an opportunity to participate in another somewhat new way to help with supplies. So I'm pretty sure everyone shops at Costco, BJ's, Sam's Club, some grocery store, Stop and Shop, Shaw's. Do I have everybody included in that? Did I miss any store? Okay, well anyway, the idea is next time you're there, consider picking up maybe a little container of paper coffee cups or small plates or lunch napkins or paper towels, anything like that to help donate to the kitchen and to our church. And let's see what kind of abundance we can manifest. And a particular thank you to those who have already made donations to that effect. So again, we thank you for that. And consider it, please. So I believe that concludes our announcements. And now it's greeting time. And so we're going to ask that you please remain in your pew as we use the Gandhi blessing to greet each other. The Gandhi blessing is meant to be a call and response. So we are going to ask today that if you'd like, you may stand up. And as you say the response line, please take time to look around to the others that are in the sanctuary and speak to them, and also speak to those folks that are online. And those of you at home, you can stand and bless all that are in your home and your neighborhood, and even bless those of us that are here. So let us begin. I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your needs. Our wisdom flows from the highest source. And I salute that source in you. And let us work together for unity and peace. Thank you. Please have a seat. And now I'll ask you to please join me in affirming our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God, the good omnipotence. Amen. And now I have the privilege to read today's daily word. It is entitled Release. And the affirmation is, releasing the past, I make room for the future. And the message reads, my life experiences have provided me with many gifts. From joyous to painful, I have taken something from each one. A nugget of wisdom, understanding, solace. Each has helped me evolve into the person I am today. I am always growing, always changing. With gratitude, I receive the blessings while letting the painful memories go. I have no room for regret and do not dwell on things I have no power to change. As I release unwanted thoughts and unpleasant memories, I free myself to enjoy new experiences and create beautiful, lasting memories. With an uncluttered mind and an unburdened heart, I embrace the present moment and eagerly create my bright, beautiful future. And the biblical reference, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away. From Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 6. And once again, today's daily word is release, and the affirmation is, releasing the past, I make room for the future. Reverend Christine?
Thank you, Kirk. Will our ushers please come forward? As our ushers come forward, let me remind you that we can accept credit card gifts through our online website. Just hit that donate button. Checks and cash, the ushers today can receive, and of course you can always mail that in to us. Those who are watching online, we want you to participate in the spiritual law of giving and receiving, but we also know that it's a little bit more difficult. So make yourself a note that says donate or give, however you want to say it, and put it there so when the service is over, wait, before I get that second cup of coffee, let me hit that donate button, and we appreciate you doing that. Because this is the time in our service when we have the opportunity to experience and express gratitude, love, and prosperity. We know that when we freely and joyfully give, we are opening ourselves up to the abundance of the universe. So whatever amount you are guided to give, take it in your hands or hold it in your heart if you've done it online, and bless it with your love. I would also ask that you hold an intangible gift. Perhaps a gift of peace or love or harmony or wisdom or oneness, whatever that is. Let's hold that in our hearts as a gift to our unity community here today. And so let yourself feel that gratitude as much as you can to God in you and as your one true source of all. And then please join me in our offering blessing together. Divine love, flowing as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, all that I give and receive, and so it is. Amen.
So today I am going to sing a song. It's known as Deliver Me. It's known sometimes as Millennium Prayer. But what it really is an interfaith version of the Lord's Prayer. And you were given these lyrics as you came in, so please feel welcome to sing with me if you choose to do so. Okay? Give me this day my daily bread. Forgive me all my trespasses, and lead me not into dismay. But let me pray upon the highest hill. Let me know the beauty of thy will, and from it let me not stray. But deliver me from negativity. Baptize me in your majesty. Christen me with a love that is free. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. When I realize that we are one, and only with these eyes do I see. Thy word is heard from mountains high and valleys low, through summer skies, and lands of war and lands where there is peace. Te malkuta netka deshema watula hewa ela wateshbukta. You did it. From Catholic saints to Hindu names, Buddhist chants and Zen refrains, bless all the paths our feet walk to be free. Baruch atah Adonai, Om Shanti El Shaddai, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om.
Thank you, Carolyn. Now we're going to be singing this same song for the next couple of weeks. So I expect by the third time, We'll get better at it. Well, this Sunday we continue our talk series called Many Faiths, One God, which is based on the new book, Unity and World Religions by Paul John Roach. So far, we have focused on unity in Christianity and unity in Judaism. Today, we're going to delve into similarities that unity has with Islam. But before we jump into that discussion, I want to remind you and challenge you about our reasons for this Sunday talk series. Certainly, it's an interesting intellectual series, and we do hope that you're going to learn something. But our real intention is to take you on a journey of the heart. And no, the heart and intellectual are not mutually exclusive. They can be together. These days, though, it seems like everyone is split into different camps. There's no common meeting ground. I had someone recently tell me that he has no political opinions at all and never discusses politics. I was astounded. How is that even possible? Although I can certainly understand how someone may want to pretend that there's no such thing as politics and that politics has no impact on your lives. I mean, that way of thinking may certainly take away some possible conflicts or disagreements. But there are many who are being, hurt or oppressed by what's happening in politics, not just in our country, but worldwide, and they perhaps don't have the luxury of doing that. And yet, if we all agreed on everything, where would our growth be? And where would our possible new ways of viewing and learning be? I remember this saying by the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, and it goes something like this, that without the mud, there would be no lotus flower, right? So while we'll be talking an intellectual journey, we'll be going on an intellectual journey to discover our unity teachings and other religions. I invite you to join me on a journey of the heart, a journey where you'll look for and embrace your similarities with people who might appear to be very different from you or to hold very different views from you. When we make the mind and heart commitment to find common ground, we're going to find it. And as we discover more and more similarities with more and more religions and people, we're not only raising our own consciousness, but we're helping everyone to raise their consciousness and to evolve and grow into a more peaceful and loving world. And that's our goal. And so I invite you to join me in this evolving, transformative process. So today we're going to explore Islam, and we're looking for similarities with our unity principles. Now, the last two talks, we certainly went into those unity principles, so I'm just going to quickly summarize them today. The first, there is only one, God the good, everywhere present. 2, our essence is of God, therefore we are inherently good and divine. 3, human beings create their experience by the activity of their thinking. Everything has its beginning in thought. 4, prayer is creative thinking, and it heightens our awareness of the divine and opens us to our highest and best. And 5, we need to actually live the truth that we know. Now, that all was too fast for you. Okay. It's here, right on the wall. You might be able to see it if you're in this sanctuary, but it's also on our website. So can we find some or all of these unity principles in Islam? I'm going to give you a bit of history, and as I do, we're going to be looking for our similarities. Well, right now, Islam is the second largest religion in the world after Christianity, with about 1.8 billion Muslims worldwide. Experts predict that Islam will surpass Christianity as the largest religion by the end of the century. Scholars typically date the creation of Islam to the 7th century, where it is held that the angel Gabriel visited Muhammad with the first divine message. And for the next 23 years, he continued to receive those divine messages, which were eventually recorded, written down into the Quran. Now, the Prophet Muhammad was born in Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia, in 570, and Muslims believe that he was the final prophet sent by God to reveal, once again, the faith to mankind. Other prophets that they honor are Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. And then starting in about 613, Muhammad began preaching throughout his hometown of Mecca. He preached the message of oneness, that there is no other God but Allah, and that Muslims should devote their lives to this God. And so that the word Islam means submission to the will of God. Followers of Islam are called Muslims, and mosques are places where Muslims worship. Muslims see Islam not only as a religion, but as a way of life. And certainly, many of us in Unity see our spiritual journey as our way of life. Muslims are monotheistic, meaning they worship one all-knowing God. There's no God but God. And that is the same God that Jews call Yahweh and Christians call Father. Images of the divine are prohibited, and there is no attempt to make Allah a person. Instead, Allah is infinite, absolute, and transcendent. And that is very similar, right, to our unity teachings. Muslims are encouraged to develop a direct and personal relationship with God without any intermediaries. And unity, we too seek to develop a direct and personal relationship with the divine. Now, of course, you've heard me say this, Muslims refer to God as Allah, and that simply means God in the Aramaic language. Arabic-speaking Jews and Christians also refer to God as Allah. So here we can see a similarity, a very clear similarity with our first principle. There is only one presence and one power, God the good omnipotence. So followers of Islam aim to live a life of complete submission to Allah. They believe that nothing can happen without Allah's permission, but human beings do have free will. So similar to unity, we hold that divine ideas, Spirit, God, are always available to us, but it is us who needs to choose. The power of our thinking creates our experience. So the emphasis in unity is not so much on surrender, but rather being in alignment with the divine. But we come to prayer. Prayer is an essential part of Islam. The Salat is one of the 5 basic pillars of the faith, which instructs Muslims to pray 5 times a day, at dawn, noon, afternoon, sunset, and evening. And while unity does not have such specific prayer instructions, we certainly suggest that people have a daily prayer and meditation practice. Prayer is our 4th principle. And although Muslims are instructed to pray 5 times a day, Muslims end up being just like everybody else. They might not actually pray 5 times a day, okay? And still they're able to call themselves Muslims and say that they follow Islam. And so many Muslims, though, incorporate prayer into their daily lives. And I know that many of you do. I know that some of you have on your cell phone, you have an alarm that goes off to remind you to stop and breathe and pray throughout the day, right? So Muslims, when they are perhaps starting a new task or a new beginning in something, they might begin it with a particular word, an invocation, and it's Bismillah, which means in the name of Allah. And they might also add the phrase Inshallah, and that means if Allah wills it. So Muslims follow 5 basic pillars or practices that are essential to their faith, and we have some similarities again with that. So the first one is Shahada, to declare one's faith in one God, and that's certainly similar to our first principle. The second is salat, to pray 5 times a day. We too, prayer is very important to us. Zakat, to give to those in need, to do acts of charity. And perhaps that's similar to our 5th principle, that it's not enough to know these truths, but we must live them. And then Psalm is to fast during Ramadan, and Haji, to make a pilgrimage to Mecca, at least once during a person's lifetime, if the person is able. I've heard some of you jokingly say, I need to make a pilgrimage to Unity Village. So, when Muhammad died, there was a debate over who should replace him as leader. This led to a schism in Islam, and 2 major sects emerged, the Sunnis and the Shiites. Sunnis make up nearly 90% of Muslims worldwide. They accept that the first 4 caliphs or leaders were the true successors to Muhammad. 2 very famous Sunni Muslims, who are also known as Sufi masters, were the Persian poet Rumi. Anybody know, ever read Rumi? Yes. And also the poet Hafez. Sufis are often also Muslims, but not always. Sufis, well, they have a very mystical practice with heavy emphasis on direct spiritual experience. You might be familiar with a people in Sufi who we sometimes refer to as the whirling dervish. They use dance as their form of meditation. And Sufis offer a universalist approach based on one God, the God of all people in all religions, whose essence is of love. On our discussion table in the community room today, I have some Rumi and Hafiz quotes, and of course they were both Sufis and Muslims. Now the other group is the Shiite Muslims, and they only hold that the Caliph Ali, who is the son of Muhammad, and only his descendants are the real successors to Muhammad. They deny the legitimacy of the first caliphs that Sunni Muslims hold, that they're okay with. Today, Shiite Muslims have a considerable presence in Iran, Iraq, and Syria. Now, a central idea in Islam is jihad, which means struggle. While the term has been used negatively in mainstream culture, Muslims believe it refers to an internal as well as external efforts to live their faith. An internal jihad focuses on one's thinking that may be in conflict or opposition to their beliefs. We in Unity call that error thinking, right? When what we think isn't in alignment with Unity teachings or what we say we believe. We say we believe there's only one God, and then we worship fear. That might be in conflict. So they have the same type of principle. But then, of course, jihad can also include a military jihad if it's a just war. Now, in the book, Unity and World Religions, the author begins the chapter, I'm going to read it to you. He begins the chapter on Islam with this saying. Boy, I really beat this book up. Okay, it says, if Christianity has been a journey to understand the nature of Jesus, and Judaism, the walk of people seeking a full and free connection to their God, a covenant, then Islam is characterized by a zealous struggle to establish the peace of God. Do you get the inherent contradiction or conflict there? And it reminds me of a phrase, and maybe showing my age, of peace through strength. Anybody remember that? It was a very famous phrase that President Ronald Reagan used in the 1980s. But it's a very old phrase. It goes all the way back to Roman Emperor Hadrian, okay, in the 2nd century. And so, critics of that, often say that there is a short path, a short walk from peace through strength to peace through war. And you know, there is history. There is history. The same history that we can often find in Christianity, in Judaism. There is history. When Muhammad first started preaching in Mecca about this one God, well, he was run out of town. He had to flee to Medina. And so, because in Mecca, people worshipped many gods, and the center of their worship was the Kaaba, an ancient black stone in the center of Mecca. Muhammad was certain that his mission was to bring people out of idolatry of pagan gods into an understanding of the one. Certainly previous prophets like Abraham and Moses, Jesus and others had also been doing that, but somehow people went right back into idolatry. So while he was in Medina, he decided he had to do it a different way. And he amassed an army. He took that army back into Medina, and he waged war on the people there. And through war, he established this new religion of Islam, which essentially means peace through submission to the will of God. So there we have this innate contradiction, and here we are many, many years later. There are those who would deliberately misuse the Quran as a weapon and as an excuse for violence. In recent years, Islam's association with terrorism and mass murder has sparked a political debate in many countries. The controversial term radical Islam has become a well-known label to describe Islam's connection to these terrorists. However, there have been recent surveys that have been conducted in countries with high Muslim populations, and overwhelmingly, the Muslims reject these terrorist groups like ISIS and insist that they are corrupting the Islam religion. In the Quran, it states that they are to respect other religions. They are to respect all people. And again, there are several quotes that I took from the Quran on our discussion table. And they might remind you, those quotes from the Quran, they sounded a lot like Jesus to me. So I'd love to hear what you think. So, and Stu, you all already told me that many of you here already know the poet Rumi. And so one of his poems has this. I'm going to leave you with this. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. You see, there is always that field of common ground. And our mission in Unity is to have faith that it exists and to seek it with expectation. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God the good omnipotence. So these are just a few of our similarities with Islam and also some challenges. I invite you to join us in the community room where we can continue the conversation at the green table, or join us tomorrow night at 6:30 on Zoom, or you can do both. And as you go through your week, consciously look for, become aware of, and celebrate our similarities. As each of us actively embraces our common ground with everyone, the world and all people will further evolve and grow into the world that works for everyone. So namaste. Thank you. And so now Carolyn is going to lead us in all singing the Unity Peace song. Afterwards, we'll recite together our prayer for protection, and then we'll have a closing song. Thank you, Carolyn.
Together. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you, Carolyn. And now please join me in our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Well, I want to thank everyone for helping to make today's service so wonderful, and special thanks to our prayer chaplains. I know that they've been holding us in prayer today. And of course, they're available to pray with you after today's service. And so I think it's Jolene and Kat, if you would stand up just so they can see you. And so thank you, ladies. So after our service, you could stay in the sanctuary and go up to one of our prayer chaplains here, Kat or Jolene, and ask if they would pray with you. Don't worry, I don't know what to do. Doesn't matter. They know what to do. So just go up and pray with them. You also have in the pew, in the pocket in front of you where you're sitting, there's a prayer card. You can fill that out and put it in the box that is, as you go out the sanctuary, it's in the sanctuary on your right. And if you're online and you have a prayer request, please just email us your prayer request. It will go to our prayer chaplains, who would be honored to pray with you, and of course your prayer request would be kept confidential. Just email your request to prayerrequest@unityhartford.org. I also want to thank our live stream team, and that's Jim and Wendy and Marty, and Richard's back learning how to do things. Yay, yay. Our greeters, Maria and Christine. Our ushers, Rob and Kristen. Yay, yay. And thank you. I know there are a bunch of people, Natalie and Jerry and Georgine and Jocelyn and a whole bunch of people setting up for our potluck. Thank you to all of you for setting up, and thank you in advance to all of you who will be cleaning up. We appreciate that. Is anyone here for the first time? If you are, just raise your hand, and our greeter will bring you a welcome package that has some information. So just raise your hand. Okay. If anyone is online and they're here for the first time, or perhaps curiosity has finally gotten to you and you want to know more, just send us an email. Send it to officemgr@unityhartford.org. Our office manager, Tony, will send you that package in the mail, but of course you need to include your address. So if you include your address, we'll get that right out to you. And thank you for joining us today, for bringing us the blessing that is you. We truly appreciate your presence here today. And don't forget to please join us after the service in the community room for some goodies and for our Unity and Islam discussion table. And so now, Carolyn, we're ready for our closing song, and what will that
Thank
be?
you. This is a song called Be a Light, and it's written by a bunch of songwriters, including Reba McEntire, Keith Urban, I think, was involved. So it's just a really interesting song, and I think it's perfect for us in this series. In a time full of war, be peace. In a time full of doubt, just believe. Yeah, there ain't that much difference between you and me. In a time full of war, be peace. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark, you were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. La 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 la. In a place that needs change, make a difference. In a time full of noise, just listen. 'Cause life is but a breeze, better live it. In a place that needs a change, make a difference. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Oh, don't hide in the dark. You were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. La da da. La da da. In a race you can't win, slow it down. Yeah, you only get one go around. 'Cause the finish line is 6 feet in the ground. In a race you can't win, just slow it down. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark. You were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. Yeah, it's hard to live in color when you just see black and white. In a world full of hate, be a light. Thank you, my friends, and thank you to everyone for joining us today, both here in person and online. We look forward to seeing you at our Wednesday meditation service at 7 p.m., and that is live on Facebook. And come back here next Sunday at 10:30, right here in the sanctuary or online, and we'll see you at Potluck in a few minutes. Have a wonderful week. Thank you.